The Vraxian High Command had made their calculations with cold precision. Colony Station Theta-7 housed merely 300 humans, scientists, miners, a handful of security personnel. It orbited a mineral-rich moon in the outer reaches of charted space, far from Earth's core systems. The attack would be swift, the message clear. Humanity's expansion into Vraxian-claimed territory would not be tolerated. Commander Zarketh watched through the viewport as his battlecruiser's plasma cannons reduced the station to glowing fragments. The human distress signal had barely transmitted before the communications array melted into slag. 300 lives extinguished in moments. He allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The Vraxian Empire had just reminded the galaxy's newest spacefaring species of their place. "Send word to the Council," Zarketh ordered. "The human intrusion has been eliminated." What the commander didn't understand, what none of the elder species truly grasped, was that humanity didn't think like them. The Vraxians had destroyed outposts before. The Kelthari had obliterated their frontier colonies. In galactic politics, such losses were calculated risks, negotiating positions, acceptable casualties in the endless chess game of territorial disputes. Humanity saw it differently. When Earth received the final transmission from Theta-7, a 5-second burst of static and screams, the response wasn't diplomatic. There were no strongly worded letters to the Galactic Council, no economic sanctions, no negotiations. The United Earth Defense Force mobilized within hours. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the Joint Chiefs, her jaw set in a line that promised violence. They killed 300 civilians, scientists, families. She tapped the holographic display, pulling up Vraxia Prime. "This ends now. Admiral, we should consider proportional response," one general offered weakly. Galactic law didn't protect our people," Chen interrupted. "We tried playing by their rules. We registered our claims, followed protocols, stayed in our designated zones. They destroyed an unarmed civilian station." Her eyes blazed. "Proportional response? They're about to learn what that means to humanity." The UEDF had been preparing for this moment since humanity first reached the stars and discovered they weren't alone, while elder species had grown complacent in their millennia of ritualized warfare. Humanity had spent 2 centuries perfecting the art of total war. Earth's military doctrine was built on lessons learned from their own bloody history. Overwhelming force, decisive action, and the understanding that half measures only invited further aggression. The Vraxian Empire never saw it coming. The human fleet that emerged from quantum space above Vraxia Prime was unlike anything in galactic records. No massive dreadnoughts, no kilometer-long warships. Instead, thousands of small, fast attack craft swarmed like angry hornets, each carrying payloads that made Vraxian weapons look primitive. Commander Zarketh, now stationed in the home fleet, watched his sensors with growing horror as human ships danced through their defensive fire. Vraxian plasma cannons, designed for ship-to-ship combat at respectful distances, couldn't track the erratic human vessels. They moved like nothing he'd ever seen, aggressive, unpredictable, almost suicidal in their attack runs. "All ships, concentrate fire on sector." His order was cut short as a human torpedo breached their shields. Not a nuclear weapon as expected, but something else, something worse. The humans called them planet crackers, though the term was somewhat inaccurate. They didn't crack planets so much as render them uninhabitable. The device buried itself deep into Vraxia Prime's crust before detonating. The explosion triggered a chain reaction in the planet's tectonic system, causing simultaneous eruptions across every major fault line. But humanity didn't stop there. Wave after wave of attacks followed. Human ships targeted the planet's atmosphere processors, water treatment facilities, agricultural domes. They weren't just destroying military targets. They were systematically dismantling the infrastructure that made life possible on Vraxia Prime. "Cease fire. We surrender." The Vraxian Council's transmission came within hours, but Admiral Chen's response was ice cold. "You had your chance to surrender when you could have chosen not to attack civilians. Now you'll understand the price." The assault continued for 3 days, not 3 days of battle. The Vraxian fleet was neutralized within the first 6 hours. 3 days of methodical destruction, of humans ensuring that Vraxia Prime would take centuries to recover if it ever could. When the human fleet finally withdrew, Vraxia Prime was dying, its sky choked with ash, its oceans poisoned, its cities in ruins. Billions of Vraxians evacuated on whatever ships remained. scattering across the Empire to overcrowded colony worlds. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, their chambers filled with outraged representatives from 100 species. The human delegate, Ambassador Marcus Webb, listened impassively to the accusations of war crimes, of disproportionate response, of barbarism. When he finally spoke, his words would be recorded in every galactic archive. You asked us to follow your rules, to respect your boundaries, to conduct ourselves as civilized species. We did. For 20 years, we absorbed your insults, accepted your restrictions, and tried to be good neighbors. He paused, letting the silence stretch. Then you murdered 300 of our civilians without provocation. You wanted to teach humanity a lesson about respecting elder species. Congratulations. Lesson learned. He stood, preparing to leave. But you've learned something too. Humanity doesn't do proportional response. We don't do measured retaliation. You kill 300 of ours, we'll make sure you can never threaten us again. Ever. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of species who'd dismissed humanity as naive newcomers. Spread the word to every corner of the galaxy. Leave humanity alone. Because next time we won't stop at one world. The Vraxian Empire collapsed within a year, its remaining worlds fragmenting into independent systems. Not a single species protested when humanity expanded into the former Vraxian space. The message had been received loud and clear. In the ruins of Vraxia Prime, a memorial was erected by human relief workers helping with evacuation efforts. 300 names carved in stone that would outlast the planet itself. A reminder of why Earth had responded with such fury, and a warning that would echo through the stars for generations. Humanity had arrived among the stars, and the galaxy would never forget what happened when you made them angry.